Hello, my name is Mercury, and welcome to this brand new episode of Media Faye. Today I'm alone, and today I'll be discussing the second season of Tokyo Vice. Finally, it's been long overdue. This season came out in February. Long overdue. I covered the first season when it after it finished up uh in May 2022. It didn't finish in May, but it did finish like at the end of April, so around that time. But yeah, this was a series that I really enjoyed, and I want to talk about on the podcast back then because I didn't really see anyone really talking about it, and it's one of the best series I've ever seen. Really, it really is one of the best series I've ever seen. And now season two is here. Well, it's been here for quite a while. I didn't actually. So, unlike season one, I didn't actually talk. I didn't not talk. I didn't watch the series when it aired. I didn't watch the season when it aired. Basically, I was gonna rewatch the season. I was gonna rewatch the season. Uh, I was gonna rewatch the first season first before going to season two because it was like 2 years afterwards, and I didn't remember much about the first season. So it took me a while, and it took me quite a while to get through season one, but I did, and I actually found it more enjoyable the first time. I don't really rewatch stuff. That might seem a little bit weird, but I don't usually rewatch things. But I found myself really enjoying going through Tokyo Vice again, and yeah, no, I enjoyed it more the second time, actually. Now that I think about it, I really did enjoy the second time around. But that is not the not what I want to talk about it here. But anyway, that's beside the point. I already talked about Tokyo Vice. I already talked about the first season, and second season came out, and I didn't watch it because of that. And I was like getting to it, and then I was like, oh, I'll rewatch it. Watch it. I didn't rewatch it. I couldn't. At my time, season two had already ended. I wasn't even through half of season one. I just never rewatched. I just never rewatched it. I managed to finish it for my trip to Japan, which is kind of that was kind of that was kind of like thematic that I finished it for that. And I did finish it not for when I went to Japan, but specifically in that like trip to Japan. Like I did like finish season two. So I watched it then, and it has been quite a while since that happened. It's been 3 months since I've spent my time in Japan, and I just think that I gotta talk about this. I already talked about the first season. So something I gotta say about like this season specifically is that it's kind of a little bit hard to remember some things. There's a lot of things, a lot of moving parts in the series, and there's gonna be some things I don't mention. Not because I just not because I don't want to mention them, just because I forget about them. And there's again a lot of moving parts. I'll do my best to remember everything, but but uh but yeah, I'll try to remember everything. I'll try to remember everything because there's a lot, and there's some people I really want to I want to talk about in this series, but like there's something I want to talk about in the series. But again, I just think there's a lot of it's a little bit hard to remember a lot of stuff. So yeah, um, another thing I want to mention is that this season is longer than the first season, and not just by like runtime. Like it is like longer. So first season's 8 episodes. Second season is 10. And I'll talk about the series' future, of course, when we get to the to the end. When we get to the end of me talking about the future or whatever the fuck, I don't know. Like I'll talk about them, but anyways, let's just get right into it. Um, so unlike everything we ever covered here, I know like usually when we get to when we get into reviewing stuff, we usually start off with the CGI, action, animation, whatever is the graphics, whatever. We don't have never talked about a game in that sense with this new format. Actually, and I think about it, but we usually get into that. We usually do like talk about like the CGI action, just starting off kind of small into like the I guess the smallest part of our critiques, because that is a very big critique and that's a very big thing that we have uh about the series specifically, is just like like the special effects, the action, like like what we kind of came here to see about like superheroes or giant monsters or whatever. My point is that Tokyo Vice is none of that. Not that there isn't action set pieces, I guess, but it's just not the focus. There's no. It is a series based on a real story, kind of. There are liberties taken. It's not. Like it's there's like Jake Adelstein. Jake Adelstein is a real person. Uh, the story this is based on is real. Like like things about the series are real and it's based in reality. There's no like if not there's none of that. This is purely based on reality. And like I can't substitute it for anything talking about like the world or whatever, because it's purely like real. Like it's real. A lot of it is fictionalized. That is true. A lot of this show is definitely fictionalized, but it's still rooted in some reality. And that's, you know, cool. But that doesn't really give me any much to talk about for a first point, and for, I guess, the usual 4 point format we go for, which is just kind of, uh, you know, like I said, CGI action, characters, plot, and then future if we want to really talk about that. For example, like there are some things we don't really talk about the future of. Anyways, so that's just that we don't have we don't have we have the first, we have those last three, but we don't have anything talking about CGI action whatever, because that's just not the main focus of of Tokyo Vice, and uh that's not what people are here for. That's not what people are here for. So instead of that, we're gonna jump straight into characters, and there are quite a few characters I want to get to in this show. And the first one is the main character, obviously Jake Adelstein. Uh, I like, so season one Jake is very, or I guess was very by the books, and didn't really try to screw anyone over. And that doesn't really, that's what when we watching season one is he's very by the books. He doesn't really go against the law a lot. He does take bribes from the Yakuza, but they never really do anything. Like from Chiarakai. But they don't usually do anything necessarily evil towards him. That's mostly a season two thing. And what happens to Chiarakai, with Jake's involvement in all that. But uh but Jake in this season is a lot more, I guess you call it like morally ambiguous as to what he does. He definitely takes a lot more risks in the, not morally ambiguous, more he takes more risks in the this season that really constituted him as a character that was a little desperate, and that is and that is something that was very apparent from the get go. So again, season two kind of ended with Tozawa's men beating up Jake and him finding the tape about Polina, and Polina was a pretty big character in season one, and she was killed off in at the end, and she was like fully killed off, like that was like that was part of that, and Jake and that kind of traumatized Jake, like so Tosawa was after them, and they know who the people that are, like involved in their lives, like that is genuinely scary. That is genuinely scary, and he was definitely in a desperate point where he wanted to put away Tozawa. The series, like this season, does take place all throughout a few months, and so like it hmm. So it doesn't really play into like that desperation, but it definitely does. Like whenever Jake gets information, like he's definitely patient, but whenever he gets information, he's definitely a little impulsive, and definitely go straight. Like we gotta capitalize on this. And that does come at a cost. Throughout the series, like we see, like for example, something I want to touch about a little bit more is when he goes back to Missouri, and spends with his family, and he does have to leave to pursue Tosawa, and that is like he has to be there. Like, and that's more of a Katagiri thing that he needs him to be there, but still, like Tozawa, like he's on the case for Tosawa. He's on there, and so Jake pretty much leaves and everything. Like he made a promise to his sister, who we got a little bit of the show we got a little bit of it in season one, like a little bit of the backstory of the sister, and then it's like, okay, season two we're gonna show everything, and I do like that we got that showed to us, but what I didn't like is that, like, for his character and what we see is that we didn't see the real aftermath of that when we saw it for some other different characters. Like for example, so two of Jake's friends, what are names? Is it is it recurring? Yeah, Tintin and Trendy, which is a weird ass name. Okay, well, whatever. Yeah, Tintin and he was never called Trendy. I just kind of know him as June. But yeah, these two characters are kind of roped in. They're obviously in on it. Like they're obviously in on what Jake is doing with like pursuing the yakuza, like specifically pursuing Tosawa, and like they pay. They obviously he wants information. Jake wants the information. He wants it fast. So like essentially and essentially like the climax of the series uh Tintin gets stabbed and he gets like wounded and whatever because of what Jake did, and Trendy, just to put it lightly, just to at least have a name I can pronounce, Trendy, like doesn't want anything to do with him. Like it's a bittersweet ending for that friendship that we've seen from the beginning of the show. Like there's consequences to Jake's actions, and it definitely does affect him, and that it affects him. and I like that. I like that part of Jake's character. Like, he's so desperate, and to just get this over with because he's being threatened, and he's made so many breakthroughs in this season. I mean, it's like a big threat. There's a big threat here with Tozawa, which I'll get to. Talking about Tozawa, I love Tozawa as a villain. Like, he is great, but I'll get to that. Yeah, Jake. Otherwise, I like that Jake changed a little bit. He's still definitely Jake Adelstein. It's kind of weird to say about like talking about him as a character because he is a real person that's still alive. But I guess talking about it in a in some dramatized way, is he is portrayed well as a character. Like I like it. Like at least from what I remember him like looking back at it now. I do remember him being a little desperate, and that's definitely what leads to a lot of stuff we see in the show happen. But yeah, uh, and like there's things. There's also different things that I like about them tying into other stuff. Yeah. Um. I think that's all I gotta say about Jake. I know like, it's a kind of a little. It's just a smidgen too little, I think. But again, I don't remember much about. I really want to remember more. I watched it 3 months ago. I usually have a good memory, but Tokyo Vice isn't forgettable. It's just a show that has too many, as like a lot of moving parts, and that is too is to the show's advantage, but not to my brains. So bear with me if I have to like remember collect my thoughts about everything because there is a lot. Oh, completely forgot about Mizaki. That's more about me talking about Mizaki. I escaped my mind. Uh, but I think the Mizaki's thing was a little like just kind of not necessary to be added in this show. It's definitely weird to talk about more when we get to Mizaki because Mizaki does get a bigger role here, but I feel like we didn't need that. So yeah, let's move on to the second character I want to talk about. Just kind of looking through stuff here on Wikipedia, so they actually have quite well made summaries of the episodes. Let's talk about Samantha Porter. All right, so Samantha left off season 1, wondering where Polina was, and we get the news broken to her about that. Like and Ozzy and that did lead to that affected her, but I don't really remember how much that affected her. Definitely in those first episodes, definitely. No, yeah, wait, it affected her kind of a lot. Maybe that might be season 1. I don't remember. I think that was season 2. But uh, with Porter, Samantha Porter specifically, her opening her own club does lead to a lot of the show. A lot with the show, kind of unintentionally, but that's kind of the beauty of the show in general. Jake does a thing. Jake published the thing that connects uh Samantha to Yakuza. That obviously again that's what I mentioned with Jake having some they doing some bad some doing like having mistakes uh trying to take those out away. But yeah, Samantha starting her own club, and her like firing somebody, firing like one of her workers, and we know, and then we learned that that worker was part of was part of the Shirakai, where he was being paid by the Shirakai to talk to this person, and then this person is like this architect is has something that might get people want from the Shirakai, and it leads to them meeting up at the club. But then the club gets attacked by Tozawa's guys, and then like the Ishida and the architect, but the architect was just more about kind of plot device. Get killed, in that, and that does affect that does affect Samantha a lot. That one does really affect Samantha a lot. Definitely, in like at least in later parts of the show. That's when that episode. I remember that episode vividly. I was like, "Holy shit!" That's when I went. Like, that's when I went into like, "Holy shit!" We're really going in now. We're really going in with the. With like the intenseness, the intenseness. That's what that scene felt like. Like we are in the shit now. um, what is there? I don't think I say anything. Like mostly, she's affected by those deaths that happen, and she definitely does join it. Does like do things in the show, and definitely does help, and ultimately, helps in that. But I think it's an interesting way to take her character. To at least have her on her own goals, but kind of not leaving that shadow of the that not leaving the shadow of the yakuza and all that, especially with Sato being around, and her and Sato's relationship is like not downplayed, but like it's very much taken a back seat this time around. I think it's been quite a few months, and they kind of broke up a little, and then they got back together some when in like the last half of the season. Yeah, like it was that was something. Anyways, Samantha Porter was definitely where they took the character was definitely interesting, and quite a good like point like to take her. I don't know, like she was definitely one of the weakest out of the three this season. Of the three main characters this season, I think. She's what's that's interesting, and like I just kind of think that the one that I think was the most interesting out of the main three is Sato. Sato had the most interesting character like traits out of everyone here. I think that's mainly because Sato was brought up to be quite a big deal. He was stabbed at the end. He was stabbed at the end of season one, and we didn't know what his fate was gonna be. left on a cliffhanger. A lot of things. Season one is less than a cliff on the biggest cliffhanger ever. But yeah, season one, and see that's how he was left to season one, and season two came around, and he was nursed back to health. A lot of stuff happened with him, and basically he went through a lot this season, specifically with another character. Uh, Another character called I forgot his name. That's not it. Oh, I completely forgot. I completely forgot about Jason. I forgot about Jason. That was an interesting part. I think that was also part of. No, that's why Trendy left. Like Jake and Dust. I completely forgot about him. Like I remember Jake got like the information from the FBI informant to get to get to Susawa because he like ratted out Jason for something. I forgot. But yeah, that's why, and also like like the Tintin getting stabbed, like that pretty like he's involved with quite a, with some dangerous people. I would say. I'm trying to find something. Trying to find a character I was going to talk about. I think is it Oda? I think it's Oda. Maybe. I think it's Oda. Maybe that would make sense. I think he'd be in guest. Who I'm thinking of. I don't know. Here we go. Naoki Hayama. I think this is it. Yeah. No. Maybe. Maybe. Yeah. This is it. Naoki Hayama. So that's the character. I finally like, and Sato had like this just didn't like him, and he was appointed as Ishida's second in command, and like Sato didn't really like him, and got into some shit with him, and I think in the end he got killed. I don't remember how, but he got killed, and that's when Sato became second in command. I'm pretty sure, and then Ishida got killed, and like Ishida pretty much named him the successor of the Shiarakai, and he was like simple, and he was like he had to deal with all that, like and then he did become the leader of the Shiarakai, and it's kind of it's very well written. I do like where they took the character. It's a very good trajectory for his character. I think it's a tragic life, but like I guess it's the best life you could ask for the Yakuza, being like the head honcho, pretty much. So I think I think he's just a very interesting character, and he went through a lot, and I do like him in the in the writing sense. Like I think it's a very interesting character. I think he's a very interesting character, very good character. Yeah, no, Sada was just very cool. And he definitely I think had the most action scenes out of everyone here. Mainly because he was part of that, uh, part of like the actual Yakuza, I guess world. So he did have the most action out of everyone here. But yeah. All right, moving on to Katagiri, the actor from last season. So he got demoted very early on the season. He got demoted, and then he was given this opportunity to work for like this Yakuza uh, like busting scene, like busting team, and like that, and he was threatened. He definitely put away. He sheltered his family, coming from his home, and I think he's also like from the main three. I think Sato's the most is the best written character just because of his arc and where he came from him. Where we see his family, we see what his family thinks of him, and all that. But I think Katagiri is one of the better written characters of the entire show. I was gonna say series and then I said show, so it just kind of fucking came out wrong. Anyways, of the entire show and series, that's the same thing. I would have said season, but anyways, of the entire series, just because of like his arc of being like very obsessed with Tozawa and all that. Not I think helping Jake and all and with Tozawa, and us seeing like what he's going through and how like personal this has become for him, and then at the end he just retires. Like I don't remember what is said at the end, but it was something about like he has to like oh yeah like try to keep his try to keep his like mind like try to keep quiet for like a minute or something, and then he just laughed because he couldn't do it. I think that's how it. I think that's how the show ended. So yeah, I just think he's a very worrying character. Not as desperate as Jake. He definitely has like a little bit more, but I do like where he went with the character of Katagiri. It was definitely a very instrumental part into where the show went. Anyways, let's move on to Mizaki. Again, she had a very big role in the show. She gave a lot of info about Tozawa, but but through that, she had to like she was given a romantic relationship with Jake, which I feel like was a little unnecessary and just again like part of Jake's risky maneuvers this season. But yeah, like this was a little too close, and I think he was a little dumb, but whatever. And even at the end, like Mizaki like realized that like their goals in life wouldn't align. Like he was not gonna settle down with her and all that, so like it wasn't gonna work. Yeah. Like, otherwise, I do like that Mizaki got a little bit more personality here. It's just kind of a drastic. For me, it was just kind of a drastic change from where she was in season one, where she didn't really care about Jake, and the time we actually saw her like talk to him was in the club at like the end of the show. So I don't know, like at the end of that season. So again, like it's it's fine, I guess. But I definitely. I definitely think it's a way to take the character, and I think a very good way to like bring her back. But it's just kind of a very big departure from what she was in the first season. So I don't know, like it's interesting, but she mostly serves. I just kind of put her because she had a little, she had a lot more to do in this season than she was in the first season. She's not another character from the. She's not a lot another character from just that's the second season. But yeah. So moving on to the main villain of the show, Tozawa. So me like in season one, Tozawa was a very like I guess not present force. Like he wasn't like he was like an invisible force within the show, and definitely a little bit more here at the start. But then he comes back, and you're like, what happened to him? And like my point was like my season like my reasoning for the first season like okay where are they going with Tozawa? Like what is their end goal of Tozawa? Like I don't know where this guy is going. What they're he was kind of a non-presence in the show. But definitely a big presence, but very much not a very like present presence. If that makes any sense. But now in this season, he is very present and very prevalent, and I know what they were going for. They were kind of again. I knew they were adapting the Jake Adelstein's very own book, Tokyo Vice, which is named the same as the show. But Tozawa was but Tozawa was actually based on another yakuza. I don't remember his name. Again, a big yakuza boss that actually like Tozawa, like what he's but Tozawa was based on sold like made a contract with the FBI to help sting operations with other yakuza in exchange for access to the USA. So not only would this pretty much break through and expose that the FBI was working on the yakuza, it would expose like Tozawa for being weak and turning to the Americans. Like it's a very big thing uh, in the yakuza world to just kind of deal with things on your own and not really take outside help. I think so. Him being this, him being he like him doing this while trying to take over the yakuza, like all of Tokyo pretty much from the other yakuza and doing a lot of brazen things, is very like just it's cool to see and like having him be much more of a powerful presence and definitely a much more of a looming presence over the characters is that he was like okay who the hell is this guy, like, who the hell is this guy, yeah. I like Tozawa's villain. He's a very cool, very good, well written villain. I just and obviously I like that he wasn't gunned down. I like that he like people like he wasn't like firing squad gunned down. I like that he had to go out like he was given the he was given I think it was like a sword or something. Yeah, it was like a samurai sword, a katana, and he was like, you had to impale himself. He had to he had to kill himself like at that point. Like he had to make the finishing blow, and I do like that. I people in the show people thought that like we had like he people in the show like he should have served jail time, but again this is the Yakuza world, like they have to abide by those rules. So those all having to to kill himself, like it kind of it was I think it's a fitting end, at least thematically. Anyways, again, that's Sozawa. I think one of the best villains out here. In all of the like these type of shows. So yeah, some of the characters kind of like it's I can mention Jason. Jason was very interesting. I it just was a very interesting character to include here. I do like that. Like his inclusion is very much appreciated. I do like what he did for Trendy, being his lover and all that. Like, playing much more into Trendy's like sexual orientation. He is gay, homosexual. Uh, and that was explored a little. That was shown a little bit and kind of mentioned quite a little bit in season one, but it's played a lot more season two, and definitely uh, ties into like ties into his character and his like what happens to him, his friendship with Jake, like his friendship with Jake, and like it's it's part of his character. It's cool that we have that. Uh, we have we have that as part of the of like his like, it's been much more explored, and I like that. I briefly mentioned who's this guy? Naoki Ayama, and he's a very interesting character. Very weird to have to bring him back, but I do like that it kind of made Sasio kind of prove himself to be not only second command, but the leader of the Shiarakai, the Oyabun of the Shiarakai. Yeah, I do like that about the like other characters, but I think that's all I gotta say about the characters. Really, I kind of blathered on about these characters for quite a long time, so let's just move on to the plot. So the plot of the show, I like it. I think it's a very big upgrade from season one, and that's mainly because the plot of the show for season two is very it's not fast paced. It definitely takes its time with its story, but it also takes a lot of stuff from season one, and it ties everything together. Even for season one, it ties a lot of things together. Like we find out what happened to Miyamoto. Uh, he's uh, we know how Miyamoto gets killed in the first episode. He just like we learn he's dead. Uh, like there's some other things in the show like for example who's this guy, the meth addict guy, the addict guy that got information about Tozawa. We see him reformed at the ending, like he helps Jake and all that. There's stuff tying in, and everything in the show like happens from like the first season, like even with the Polina tape that ties into the end. I think like the reveal was a little bit rushed. With that reveal about like who brought in the tape, I was kind of like, okay, who brought in the tape? I feel like that was a little bit weird. Like how that was brought in there, like oh yeah, I brought you tape and you did nothing with it, and you just let it get burned away. Like that was a bit weird a bit weird for them to mention that in the show, but whatever. I like that everything was tied in, and especially with like I mentioned the architect stuff. Like that was multiple characters, multiple things going on at the same time about that storyline, and it built and it built and it built, and it just worked. It just worked. It led to other things happening in the show. The Tozawa thing, like him going, like apparently Samantha got mad at Jake, or Jake got mad at Samantha about some things, and he went to Missouri. But then when he went to Missouri, he found out about the doctor that treated Tozawa and all that. Like everything tied in this season, and I gotta commend the writers for that. It takes a lot of effort, it takes a lot of skill to make that kind of writing. Even I like people tell me that I have very good writing, and obviously, like at least, like specifically me, for just me, like myself, I don't like to really label myself as a good writer or something. It's more for what people perceive. And you know what? If I'm a good writer, I'm a good writer. Who knows? I've been told I've been getting more compliments than I've been given. In criticisms, and I don't like that. I don't. But that's just kind of the world I live in, and that's not. And that I just like, oh yeah, you're a very good writer. Like, God damn it! I want someone to just say my shit is shit. Like, just tell me it. Just give me the brass tacks at that point. Like, come on. But yeah. Anyways, like I can't do that. I too much stuff in my brain, like with keeping a plot moving on. But like these people made a lot of different moving cogs in a way that felt like it was a lot. Like you kind of question what you were watching as you were watching it, but it all tied in and it all served a purpose, and that is commendable. That it is insane they can make this work. And you know they made it work. It is, if anything, there are shows that you just have to watch. Like there are things you just have to watch to just get to just learn things. Not just to watch it because you enjoy it, but there are shows that are not necessary, but definitely a great recommendation to watch if you want to learn about writing, about like doing set pieces, about doing characters, about doing different storylines at the same time as each other. Like, and like there's ways, there's good ways of putting it, and this show is one of those ways. If you want to be a writer and you want to say, oh, I want to have multiple storylines going at the same time that tie into each other, watch Tokyo Vice, especially season 2. Pay attention to season 2 because you are going to learn a lot from just watching the show. That is, I recommend. I guarantee that I've learned a lot from watching the show. I may not apply it, but I've learned a lot, and especially just like this show is very good. But sometimes also like watch bad shit. Especially if you want to know how not to do some things, watch Ruby. That is a very good show. I mean, I can't tell you to watch Ruby because it's not available legally anywhere. The only way to pirate it, the only way to get it is like to pirate it, but I don't know how other sites are like that. But yeah, no, like there's like if you want to watch a bad show, like to learn what not to do about writing, Ruby's it's your show. That one's just bad writing, bad role building, bad everything. I learned a lot from that show, and not like learning what not to do. But anyways, the plot of this of Tokyo Vice is just great. It's carefully constructed in a way that just ties everything together in a little knot. The one thing that does piss me off kind of a bit, and I don't know if this is mentioned, is that we don't know who burnt the tape of Paulina's death. We don't know who burnt it. I don't think we ever found out. And that kind of pissed me off. It was definitely a plot point that they left open in the air, but we kind of knew what it was. It was just kind of oh yeah, like it was like it was just kind of like it was just kind of like a member of like the maid show that that was like aligned with Tozawa and all that, but like and they thought that it was this guy, but it wasn't. But yeah, I I think that was the only thing that wasn't tied into each other, and that was kind of just kind of a loose end out there. But I don't know. I don't really care. Everything else was tied into so well that it doesn't really matter. So yeah, that's the. I think that's all I'm gonna say about the plot. The plot is just very well constructed, and that's like very good. Just very good. So lastly, let's talk about the future. Sadly, there is no future for Tokyo Vice. The season got the series got canceled after a few months after the season came out, and I was there. I was in Los Angeles, going. I think the day before we went to Japan, and the series got canceled. I think I finished season 2 by then, maybe. But yeah, again, I don't mind it. I think the show tied itself pretty well at the in the end. Like it was a very I was surprised it didn't just end the show there. That wasn't the end. Like, oh, we're not gonna make any more seasons. Like, yeah, like, I kind of suspect that you weren't gonna make more. Uh, it, yeah, it's fine. I'm not really mad at you for not making more. It's just kind of like, well, why? Like, at this point, well, whatever. I guess can't do much to help it. Not much to take there. You kind of already adopted what the book was about. But they did say something. They did say something that interested me. That they have plans for Tokyo Vice moving forward, and they have plans for these characters. Since most of them are characters. I I think, okay, I think that uh, I think that maybe they won't do. They won't do season 3 of Tokyo Vice. They won't do that. What I think is that they might do. What is this? I don't know. Is that they what is it? Oh fuck. Okay. Uh, is that we know that like the Tokyo Vice book, the book explained the expose on the that guy that Tozawa is at least like the one that Tozawa is like based on, and also like the apparently this Lucy Blackman character, like that was the that not character, the like the Lucy Blackman case, the Joji Owara thing, you know. Okay. Like that's what the book is about, but like they mostly decide to adapt the what was based on what Tozawa was based on. So what I think could be the basis for what I think could be the basis of the next uh the next sort of entry in this series, I guess you could say, would be an adaptation of an adaptation, more like I guess a retelling of the of Operation Tropical Storm, which is the story about how an FBI agent snared a Yakuza boss in NOI that's very much in line with what Tokyo Vice is. That was written by Jake. But I guess you could say, I guess you could try to, again, like dramatize, fictionalize it to have Jake in there. And also you could do, if you wanted to kind of continue in that, in the sense of like, of in the sense of Tokyo, like specifically Tokyo Vice, and not like, try to go, Hawaii and all that stuff. I guess you go and try to do the last Yakuza, which is uh, Jake Adelstein's latest Yakuza book. Like you could do one of those or do both of those. That's very possible. That's like they're very that is that's very fine. Like that's like not very fine, but yeah, that's an okay way to take it. Just adapt both of the other ones that are based on Yakuza stuff for from Jake Adelstein, and just go from there. Like two more series based on these two books, and you're good to go. They might not have Jake Adelstein in them since Tokyo Vice is very much Jake's pretty much about retelling of what he saw. But I think that that these two books could at least since they're both made by Jake, like they're both written by Jake and retold by Jake, like it makes sense to at least have that. But yeah, so that's all I think. So that's all I say. And another point I made here was like a Chihara Kai spin-off. They want to go in a little bit more of a fictionalized sense. They could go in that direction. That's also a direction I can see them going for, is a more fictionalized direction of Tokyo Vice this world they've crafted with the Chihara Kai. I think I could see that happening, especially with having Sato back and doing more things. But yeah, like doing more things with the Chihara Kai. I think it could definitely work. But that's all I say. So putting into ranking, Tokyo Vice season 2 goes in the S tier. It is just Miles better than season 1. I put season 1 in A tier solely because season 2 is a masterpiece of a show. It elevates Tokyo Vice into an S tier show. You are doing yourself a disservice if you're not watching Tokyo Vice. Genuinely speaking, like you are doing yourself a disservice. Watch this show. It's very good. Not a lot of people watched it, but watch it. I gotta thank media consumers for this show. I would not have watched the show if it wasn't for media consumers. I wouldn't have found the show if it wasn't for media consumers, to be honest. But yeah, I thank media consumers for this show because this show was really good, and that's what media consumers is about. Just like picking up things we want to pick up anyways. But yeah, so yeah, if you watched Tokyo Vice, what did you guys think about it? Leave in the comments below. All of our socials are in the description. So yeah, that's about it. See ya.